Later that day, in the professor's office, Professor Lee Hanwol was reviewing the examination papers. His eyes lingered on one particular sheet, circled in red, as he pondered deeply. "Oh, Professor Hanwol," a voice called out, catching his attention. Turning to the source, he saw a lady approaching. "Are those the papers for this year's freshman class?" Hanwol nodded. "Yes, these are the exam papers." Excited, she clapped her hands, eager to meet this year's most interesting students. She was none other than Professor Edelteimen, one of Stellar Academy's elders. "You are right, Professor Edelteimen," Hanwol replied. "This year's class is truly remarkable. From the most renowned family in fire magic, we have Princess Hongbyeon of the Adolebit Kingdom of Flames. Then, there is Jeremy Scalvan, the chosen successor to the Crown Prince position of the Scalvan Empire at the age of 12, purely because of his overwhelming magic prowess. He completely surpassed all his older brothers in the race for the throne." He continued, "And from the world's greatest magic institution, the Full Moon Tower, we have Hye Wonryang, the successor to the Tower Master himself. Given such elite students from prominent families, designing this year's exam was particularly challenging. We had to include truly interesting questions. I am glad they were to your liking," Hanwol responded. Professor Edelteimen was right. This year's test featured a new type of question. The first 3 questions were exceptionally difficult for students who had only studied in an ordinary manner. However, those questions were not designed to be solved through pure memorization alone. There were hidden intentions behind them. The first objective was to test a student's flexibility, whether they could recognize an unsolvable problem and move on to one they could answer. The second was to evaluate their problem-solving ability when faced with a challenge not found in conventional textbooks. Hanwol knew all too well that the era where magic relied solely on theory and memorization was over. The present age demanded combat skills, quick judgment, and creative thinking. These questions were placed there on purpose, they weren't meant to be solved. Out of 1,141 students, only 141 even attempted the first 3 questions. Of those 141, 100 students failed to answer them correctly. However, among the new students, only 3 managed to get all 3 right. One was Mu Yusung, a prodigy who appears once in a millennium. His origins were unknown. The second was the heroine, Flame, a commoner whose talent was personally recognized by the principal, making her comparable to Mu Yusung. And the third was none other than Baek Yusol. Hanwol knew that both Flame and Mu Yusong were considered geniuses. But Baek Yusol? He was admitted with the lowest entrance score. Yet despite that, he managed to solve the 3 impossible questions, even though he left the rest unanswered. Professor Edelteimen noticed Hanwol's deep interest in the students' results. Is there something about one of the students' scores that does not make sense? She then added, there are countless formulas and different ways he could have used to solve those questions. Hanwol pondered for a moment before asking, could he be a genius? It might just be a coincidence, Hanwol, she replied before leaving the room. Hanwol, however, continued staring at the exam sheet. His eyes landed on an important detail. Baek Yusol was granted special admission. His ability to control blink was highly regarded, and as the principal had personally granted his admission, Hanwol felt an unfamiliar sense of excitement. For the first time, Stellar Academy had a combat mage student specializing in blink. Now, Hanwol was determined to find out whether Baek Yusol's answers were a fluke or if he was truly special. Meanwhile, the students were making their way down the halls to check their class assignments posted on the bulletin board. A nearby student sighed, clearly stressed. My mother told me not to come home if I do not make it to Class A. This whole situation felt weird to me. In the game, checking results was as simple as clicking a button. But here I had to physically check the bulletin board. Arriving at the board, I found it already crowded with students. Just as I approached, someone noticed me. Hey, isn't that Baek Yusol? Another student scoffed. I can't believe a bumpkin like him got into Stellar Academy. Have their standards dropped? Whatever. Let them ramble all they want. I was just here to check my class placement and leave. I went straight to the section where Class F students were listed, scanning from the top down. But something wasn't right. My name wasn't there. As if struck by lightning, I felt my heart drop. Did I fail? Was it because I only answered 2 questions? Then I overheard some students talking about my name. No way, this has to be a mistake. I can't believe it. That guy actually surpassed the top geniuses of Class A. Hearing this, my curiosity piqued. What the hell were they talking about? Following their gazes, I turned to the other side of the board. The moment my eyes locked onto my name, I froze. What? Why is my name here? This can't be. The most prestigious class, the one every student dreamed of getting into, was Class S. This class only accepted the most exceptional students in Stellar Academy. Unlike other classes that had multiple sections, Class S had only one, with a maximum of 41 students. And my name was listed among them. My mind raced. This has to be a mistake. I was going insane. This meant I would constantly be around the main characters, chilling with those monsters. That was a surefire way to shorten my already short lifespan. For a moment, I seriously considered if I could change classes. But I knew that wasn't an option. For now, the best possible solution was to keep a low profile. Deep in thought, I began strategizing how to survive this situation. Yet as I turned to leave, I felt a gaze on me. Flame had been watching my reaction the entire time.